Good morning, everyone. Alyssa Labrecque here, nutritionist and gut expert. I wanted to come on here and continue a really important conversation that I've been having inside our free Facebook group, the Love Your Guts IBS support group. If you haven't come and joined us already, come on inside and join us. But it's interesting because we've been having some great conversations, having polls going on inside our group. And one of the most recent conversations that we've been having is around the cost of fixing your gut. And many people have shared the same sentiment that money is a big thing that's holding them back from actually fixing their gut. And so I wanted to come on here and chat with you guys about that today, and give you some really important tools and resources to help you overcome that obstacle. So the very first thing that I wanted to chat with you about is I think it's really important for us to reframe our experience of fixing our gut and money being an obstacle. Okay, so some of what I'm about to share with you today may or may not apply to you. And if it's not for you and you're like, nope, that's not the thing for me, then just let that piece go. And there may be other pieces that I bring up for you today that will be for you. But either way, at the end, what I'm going to wrap up with are free tools and resources and things that you can be implementing to help you fix your gut right here, right now, that aren't going to cost you a single penny. Okay, so that piece will be for everyone. But the first step is we need to reframe, because often I hear people sharing that money is the obstacle. And in my experience, when we unpack it and we actually dive deep into dissecting what's going on around money, money is actually not the real problem. Fear is the real problem. Now, let me just help you kind of narrow in if that may be the case for you. Often I'll have people say to me, Alyssa, I don't have the money, or I'm scared to spend the money to fix my gut here. And I say, okay, no problem. Let me ask you this question. If this worked for you and it actually fixed your gut this time around, would it have been worth spending the money? And would you then spend the money? And the answer is almost always a resounding fuck yes, right? And so that may be actually the case for you, where when we look at it, we go, well, do you know what? It's not necessarily that I don't have the money to spend. The money is there. I have just been spending so much money trying to self-navigate, trying to fix this, and it's not working, that I don't want to spend any more money on keywords, stuff that does not work, right? Let me know in the comments if you resonate with this. Are you scared to spend more money on stuff that isn't working for you? And let me be clear, because you have spent thousands of dollars trying all of these different supplements, and maybe even you've worked with other practitioners before. You've tried fancy diets and you've tried the expensive organic foods, and nothing seems to be working. And so spending any more money is like, there's a lot of resistance around that. Right? So we have to get really clear on that, because when we actually look at what the real issue is in this case, well, in that case, the issue is not actually the money. The issue is you've tried so many things before, it's robbed you of the hope that it's possible for you to fix this. And now you're scared to move forward and take action. And this is the danger. This is the cost of guesswork. It's not just costing you your gut health. It's actually now robbing you of your hope. And now you're stuck in inaction. And that is even more costly and dangerous and all of the things than having tried something. So again, let's separate the money from the real issue here. Here's something else that may be for you that is worth exploring, because oftentimes it's not always a money issue. Maybe it is a priority issue. Let me give you some examples. I'll have people say to me, Alyssa, I don't have any money to spend on fixing my gut. No problem. I respect that, because that isn't available to everyone. And we're going to talk about that in a bit, okay? But it isn't available to everyone. But in the next breath, they're like, I don't have $1,000 to invest in knowledge and coaching, but then they're out there buying a brand new iPhone. And you're gonna be like, oh, but it's not the same, Alyssa. Yes, it is. It's money out of your pocket, right? And then there'll be people that are like, oh no, I don't have time. I don't have time for self-care. I don't have time for journaling or walking or getting out in nature or food prepping. I don't have time to try and figure this out. And then they're binge watching Netflix. Just one more episode, right? Just one more episode. I mean, we can all relate to that, right? $100, too much to spend on organic groceries, but $100 buying some meal out is like, no problem, right? Guys, this is a priority thing here. Again, some of the things I'm going to share with you today may or may not be for you. You may, some things will be like, yep, oh shit, that's me. And others, you're be like, no, that's not for me. But if this is something you're resonating with, if you are catching yourself out of alignment and out of integrity with your word, where you're actually saying that you don't have the money, but you're spending money in other things, like your online shopping, you're just not investing it in your gut health. And again, we have to go back to, well, why is that happening? Why are we okay with spending $5 on a mediocre coffee instead of saving that and making our own coffee at home and eventually putting that towards our health? It's a priority thing. It's not right or wrong. You're not good or bad. And so we have to not make it mean something bad about ourselves, but it's just the reality of it's a priority thing. And if in that case, if you are finding that you are spending time binging on Netflix, or you are spending money in areas on things that may not actually be needed right now and could be better invested in your health, if that's an area for you that's worth working on, understand that it's just meaning that right now your gut health is not an actual priority, and that's okay. Part of anxiety is being out of integrity with our word. And a lot of the times we might be uncomfortable with the fact that we want to fix our gut, but we can't seem to get ourselves to do the actions that are required to yield health, right? Like, you know, some of the things that you should be doing to help fix your gut that are actually free, but you're not doing that. Why is that? Which brings me to the next thing. Sometimes it's not even a priority thing. Sometimes it's actually a self-worth issue. If we don't feel worthy of being healthy, if at some point in your life you felt undeserving or you felt unlovable, then unconsciously we attract the things that make us feel further unlovable and unworthy. And when we're sick and we're unhealthy and we don't feel well, unconsciously, our mind will actually go and look for more evidence to validate these beliefs. So it's like, yep, of course I feel like a bag of shit. Yep, of course I've got this terrible gut health situation going on because I'm not worthy of being healthy. I'm not lovable. And lovable people have good health, right? We get all these stories. It's a very complicated thing. So again, is it a money issue or is it self-worth? Do you have a really hard time investing the money in yourself? But if it were for your child, it would be like, no problem. If it were for your spouse, you'd be like, no problem. I'll pour the money into the people, places, and things around me, but not myself. Self-worth. Yeah. So Sita's saying, I spent over $6,000 for nothing, wasted off money. I think what you might be meaning is like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've spent $6,000 and things aren't working for you. So there is the reality of, many people are willing to invest. They are spending their hard-earned dollars and it's not working for them. And that's a whole other talk, guys. But what I will say is this is the importance of getting out of guesswork, because many people are not wanting to spend money because they've wasted money on shit that doesn't work. It is really hard spending money when it does not work. And it's hard to come back and keep investing when we've been investing in stuff that doesn't work. And that's where people get caught up, because they're Googling and they're trying to self-diagnose and they find like, oh, I should try a probiotic, or oh, this blog says I should try digestive enzymes. And they go to the health food stores and they buy just one thing at a time, but all of those small things add up. And none of those things are going to actually fix your gut. And so sometimes we have to get really, really decisive and clear and get the proper support, get the proper functional testing that gives you the data. And you have a practitioner who is able to actually read that data and put together a plan of supplements that are confirmed your body actually needs. And so if you're watching this and you're feeling like, oh, fixing my gut is so expensive, then please, for the love of God, stop spending money on random supplements. Save all that money. Invest it in, again, data, functional testing, proper functional trained practitioner. Your test results are only as good as the practitioner reading them. Get a proper plan in place. That is money well spent. Okay, so let's also talk here, guys, because I want to talk about one other quick thing before we dive into some of the free stuff that you can be implementing. I often see people saying money is the obstacle when they're not actually implementing the free things that are available to them to help empower themselves in health. You see how we get out of alignment there. We're saying money is the obstacle, but again, in this case, it's a priority issue. It's a self-worth issue, maybe lack of self-responsibility. I'm not sure. We got to unpack that for each individual person. But why are we not implementing the free things that are available to us right now? If money is not available to you right now, like legitimately not available to you right now, ask yourself, am I implementing the free things? I want to share this with you. Let's talk about some free things. The biggest culprit behind digestive issues is trauma and or stress. It's not the sole cause, okay? There's just a few core root causes when it comes to gut issues. First one is pathogen stealth infections. Okay, second one is toxins in the body, shit in the body that doesn't belong there. And the third thing is stress or trauma. Okay, so we're isolating the stress or trauma because there's a lot of free things available to you that you can immediately have great impact on your gut. But did you know that when you're stressed, you can actually decrease your digestive enzymes by up to 80%? That doesn't mean go take a digestive enzyme. That means go fix the stressor. And these are where the free things are. Right? So getting outside in nature, walking barefoot, getting into sunlight, breath work, journaling, meditation, right? Even binaural beats. Go onto YouTube and search binaural beats. Even looking for free hypnosis downloads. There's incredible tools that are available to us for free. Good sleep habits and sleep hygiene. Lemon water first thing in the morning. Eating at home instead of eating out, right? Are you implementing all of these things daily? Not once a week, daily. Then we're out, if not, we're out of alignment. We're out of integrity. So everything comes down to choices, guys. And I want to acknowledge here as we wrap up that I know that money isn't available to every single person. And I want you to understand that I understand how that feels. When my husband and my now husband and I, we first started dating, we were broke. We were broke. And at the time I was in school. I was going back to school at the time to become a registered holistic nutritionist. And I was working a full-time job with a family business. I was working part-time at a health food store, and I was also volunteering and then eventually started working part-time with a local naturopathic doctor. I was hustling hard, trying to make ends meet. And at the time, we didn't have funds for investing in practitioners, and we really didn't have a lot to invest in supplements or even healthy foods, but it was such a priority. And I always said to Eric from day one that we will never, ever, ever compromise on our health. That if something is going on, we'll always continue to invest in our health. And so I had to get really creative, but because my health was a priority to me, I never let money become the obstacle. I just had to get creative. So at the time we started, we never ate out. It was just not ever a possibility for us. We were very, very frugal with what we were spending. At the time I was eating plant-based, mostly because I couldn't justify spending money on meats. So we ate a lot of beans and rice, and which can be tough on the digestive system. We lived in a bachelor apartment, and when I started my business, I started doing cooking classes from home. We were in a basement bachelor apartment. There was 2 little teeny tiny windows, and what I would do is I would hang these curtains across half of our apartment so that when I had clients come over, they couldn't see my bed. And then we would do these cooking classes, and I would push the couch. We would stack the couches on top of each other and push it right up against the bed, close this curtain, and then we would set up tables in what was my living room and have people over, and I would do these cooking classes in my living room. This was not ideal. I once had a client pull the curtains back and see the fucking disaster behind the curtains, which was our bed and everything that we owned in that apartment stuffed behind the curtains to be able to get this cooking class done. We made a lot of sacrifices to make it happen, to be able to afford those extra supplements or afford to go to that practitioner. And that was just because our health was a priority. But even on the things that we still couldn't afford to spend money on, that we now are very privileged to have the ability to afford, we were still really leaning into our free tools. So, accessing, again, binaural beats on YouTube, all of the meditations, journaling, getting out in nature and walking. These are things that were absolutely non-negotiables because they were free, but also my health depended on it. So guys, I'm going to wrap up and just say that, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to money. But in my experience, most of the time, it doesn't mean that there isn't circumstances where money is legit an obstacle, but most of the time, money is not the real problem. Most of the time, it's a priority issue, it is a self-worth issue, it is a fear issue, and we have to unpack that. And so the question that I want to leave you with today is, what do you need to feel fully supported? And that answer is going to be different for every single person. For some people to be, I really just need to commit to these daily free tasks, right? Lemon water in the morning, getting out for a walk, journaling, meditating. These need to be my daily self-care habits. Right? And other people, the answer might be, do you know what? I need to get out of fear and get the proper functional testing, get the proper functional practitioner behind me to actually get results this time around. No matter where you're at and what season that you are in right now, what's most important is that you are showing up fully aligned for yourself in the best way possible. And it's once we do that, things will start working for us. And so money is not always required to heal. Alignment is. Self-worth is. Self-responsibility is. Fearlessness is. These are the qualities that you want to work on. And when you work on these things, money will be irrelevant. So I'm sending you guys all of my love today. And I want to remind you to get out there and commit to whatever it is that you need to feel fully supported. And if you need extra support from someone outside of yourself, from a trained practitioner, you want that functional testing, then reach out. We'll be more than happy to support you. We've got a lot of different tools and an incredible container to do so inside my Love and Trust Your Guts program. And so if you've got questions, let us know, but know that gut healing is available to you at any level. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Bye.